Let's be honest, picking the most beautiful city in the world is almost impossible. Well, today we're ranking the 35 most beautiful cities in the world, and trust me, some of these will surprise you. From snowy European gems to tropical coastal escapes, each city has its own wow factor that makes it unforgettable. 1. Paris, France, the timeless beauty Paris. The very name feels like a poem. Some call it cliché, but clichés exist because they hold a truth we can't ignore. Paris isn't just a city, it's a feeling. It's the sparkle of the Eiffel Tower at night, the gentle curve of the Seine winding past Gothic cathedrals, and the wide boulevards lined with cafes where people sip espresso and watch the world go by. But here's the secret. Paris isn't only about the monuments. Its magic hides in the atmosphere. Imagine standing on the steps of Sacré-Cœur at dawn, the whole city stretching out in a quiet sea of rooftops. Or strolling through hidden passages like Galerie Vivienne, lined with old bookshops and mosaic floors that make you feel like you've slipped back a century. And then there are the fleeting moments, the street musician playing the accordion under a bridge, the smell of fresh baguettes floating from a boulangerie, the soft glow of lanterns on the Pont Neuf at night. Paris isn't simply visited, it lingers. It seeps into you like a melody you can't stop humming. And that's why, cliché or not, Paris will always belong on this list. 2. Kyoto, Japan. Where history meets Zen. Paris is timeless romance. Kyoto is timeless serenity. Step into Kyoto, and you step into a world where history whispers from every stone, every temple gate, every rustle of bamboo in the wind. Imagine walking beneath the endless vermilion torii gates of Fushimi Inari Shrine, each one framing your path like a tunnel into eternity. Or strolling through the Arashiyama bamboo grove, where sunlight filters through towering green stalks that sway gently, creating a soundscape that feels more like a lullaby than mere wind. Kyoto is a city of contrasts. While Tokyo blazes with neon and speed, Kyoto moves at the pace of a temple bell. Here you can sip matcha in a traditional tea house, watch cherry blossoms drift like pink snow in Maruyama Park, or spot a geisha gliding silently down a lantern-lit alley in Gion, her wooden sandals clicking against ancient stones. And in winter, the magic deepens. Picture the Golden Pavilion, Kinkakuji, its gilded walls glowing under a soft blanket of snow, mirrored perfectly in a still pond. It feels unreal, like a painting too delicate for reality. Kyoto is not a city that shouts beauty. It whispers, and those whispers stay with you long after you leave. 3. Venice, Italy, the floating masterpiece. Venice is one of those places you almost doubt exists until you're standing in it. Streets are replaced by canals, cars by gondolas, and every corner looks like a Renaissance painting waiting to be framed. At first, it dazzles you with its grandeur. St. Mark's Basilica, glittering in gold mosaics, the Rialto Bridge arching gracefully over the Grand Canal, and gondoliers singing as their oars ripple the water. But the real beauty of Venice reveals itself when you wander away from the crowds. Walk 15 minutes from St. Mark's Square, and the city softens. Laundry sways overhead across narrow canals. Children kick soccer balls in quiet campus, and old men sit on sunlit steps playing cards. It's here in these quiet corners that Venice stops being a postcard and becomes a living, breathing city. Then comes the light, oh, the Venetian light. At sunset, the canals turn liquid gold, reflecting palaces that seem to float between water and sky. And at night, when lanterns flicker on the water's surface, Venice feels eternal, suspended somewhere between dream and reality. Venice is not just beautiful, it's surreal. A floating masterpiece that proves human imagination can rival nature itself. 4. Cape Town, South Africa. Nature's city. Some cities are known for their architecture, others for history. Cape Town. Cape Town is known for its sheer natural drama. Here, Table Mountain rises flat-topped and commanding, casting its shadow over the city. At its base, golden beaches stretch into the distance, where turquoise waves crash against smooth boulders and penguins waddle along the sand. Turn another direction, and vineyards roll across sunlit valleys, producing some of the best wines in the world. What makes Cape Town unique is this contrast, the raw power of nature blending seamlessly with the vibrancy of city life. In the colorful neighborhood of Bo Kaap, rows of pastel houses brighten the streets like a box of crayons spilled open. At the Vianamp, a waterfront music drifts from buskers as sailboats glide into the harbor. And in the evening, the city comes alive with restaurants serving everything from Cape Malay curries to fresh seafood caught that very morning. But perhaps the most unforgettable moment is climbing Lion's Head at sunrise. As the sun lifts over the horizon, the entire city glows golden, framed by ocean on one side and mountains on the other. Cape Town isn't just a city you visit. It's a city you feel in your bones, alive, untamed, unforgettable. 5. Istanbul, Turkey. Where East meets West, few cities can rival Istanbul's sense of drama. This is a city that literally straddles two continents, Europe and Asia, split by the shimmering waters of the Bosphorus Strait. Stand on the Galata Bridge at sunset, and you'll see ferries crisscrossing the water as the skyline glows with domes and minarets, seagulls circling against the orange sky. It's a scene so cinematic it feels scripted. But Istanbul isn't just about the view. It's about the layers of history beneath your feet. The Hagia Sophia, once a church, then a mosque, now a museum, has stood for over 1,400 years, its mosaics and domes whispering stories of empires that rose and fell. The Blue Mosque, with its 6 elegant minarets, still echoes with the call to prayer 5 times a day. And just down the road, the Grand Bazaar overwhelms the senses with carpets, spices, lanterns, and the hum of bargaining voices that hasn't changed in centuries. At night, rooftop terraces come alive. Sip Turkish tea or strong coffee as the city spreads out beneath you, golden and infinite. Somewhere in the distance, a fisherman reels in his catch, while across the water, Asia twinkles back at Europe. Istanbul is chaotic, historic, soulful, a crossroads of the world where cultures collide and beauty takes on 1,000 forms. 6. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The marvelous city, Rio isn't subtle. It's a city of pure spectacle. A place where jungle-clad mountains plunge dramatically into golden beaches, and where the arms of Christ the Redeemer stretch protectively over it all. The skyline is instantly iconic. Copacabana and Ipanema curve gracefully along the Atlantic. Sugarloaf Mountain rises like a sentinel from the ocean, and samba rhythms spill from every corner. The city doesn't just live, it dances. By day, the beaches are buzzing with life. Locals play foot volley, an acrobatic mix of soccer and volleyball, while vendors sell fresh coconut water straight from the shell. Hike up to Pedra da Gavia, or take the cable car to Sugarloaf, and the city unfolds beneath you like a painting, too vivid to be real. And then comes sunset. Watch it from Arpoador Rock, where the sun sinks into the sea as surfers ride the last waves of the day. The city lights flicker on, samba beats rise, and Rio transforms into a carnival of sound and color. Rio is not just beautiful, it's alive. A city of passion, music, and landscapes so dramatic they feel sculpted by the gods. 7. Rome, Italy, the eternal city. Rome is more than beautiful, it's eternal. Walking its streets feels like flipping through 3,000 years of human history in the span of an afternoon. One moment you're standing before the Colosseum, imagining the roar of gladiators and crowds. A few steps later, you're sipping espresso in Piazza Navona, framed by Baroque fountains and elegant palazzi. Everywhere you turn, the past and present overlap. The ancient forum beside busy roads, scooters buzzing past crumbling ruins, locals sipping wine where emperors once walked. But Rome's beauty isn't just in the monuments, it's in the light. At dusk, the golden glow of the setting sun turns every stone into fire. The Trevi fountain sparkles like liquid silver, and the Spanish Steps become a stage for lovers, musicians, and late-night conversations. And let's not forget the food. Trattorias spill out onto cobblestone alleys, serving plates of carbonara, artichokes, and gelato that melts quicker than you can eat it. In Rome, every meal feels like part of the city's soul. Rome is a city that doesn't just tell its story, it invites you to live it. A city eternal in name, eternal in beauty. 8. Dubrovnik, Croatia. The pearl of the Adriatic, Dubrovnik, is so picturesque that it almost feels unreal. Encircled by massive stone walls, its terracotta rooftops gleam under the Mediterranean sun, with the Adriatic Sea shimmering all around. Climb to the top of the city walls, and the view is breathtaking. Red rooftops below, deep blue waters beyond, and tiny islands scattered across the horizon. It's easy to see why it earned the nickname Pearl of the Adriatic. Inside the walls, Dubrovnik is a maze of marble streets, narrow alleys, and hidden squares. By day, you might wander into a church filled with golden light. By night, you'll hear the sound of live music drifting from tiny wine bars tucked between stone arches. And for fans of fantasy, Dubrovnik's beauty has an extra layer of magic. It became King's Landing in Game of Thrones, a city so cinematic Hollywood couldn't resist. But Dubrovnik is more than a set. Swim off rocky beaches just outside the walls, watch the sun melt into the sea, or take a cable car up Mount SRJ4 views that stretch for miles. Dubrovnik is a city that feels too perfect to be true, yet it's wonderfully, undeniably real. 9. San Francisco, USA. The Golden Gate Beauty. San Francisco is a city of contrasts, colors, and curves. At its heart, the Golden Gate Bridge sweeps across the bay, its red towers vanishing into the famous rolling fog. But San Francisco's beauty goes far beyond its bridge. Pastel-painted Victorian houses, famously known as the Painted Ladies, line up against a backdrop of modern skyscrapers. Cable cars rattle up and down impossibly steep hills, while murals in the Mission District explode in color and creativity. The city is alive with quirks. One moment, you're eating clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl at Fisherman's Wharf. The next, you're standing on Twin Peaks watching the entire bay sparkle at sunset. Offshore, Alcatraz looms, a ghost of history reminding the city of its darker past. And then there's the fog. It isn't just weather, it's a character. It rolls in silently, wrapping skyscrapers in mist, swallowing the bridge, and then vanishing as if it was never there. San Franciscans even gave it a name, Carl the Fog. San Francisco is eccentric, dramatic, and endlessly photogenic. A city of rolling hills, open minds, and unforgettable views. We've crossed from Istanbul's ancient domes to Rio's samba-filled beaches, from Rome's eternal ruins to Dubrovnik's medieval walls, and finally to San Francisco's fog-kissed skyline. Each one unforgettable, each one iconic. 10. Florence, Italy, the cradle of the Renaissance. Florence isn't just beautiful, it is beauty. It feels like the entire city was designed by artists built as a canvas for human genius. The Duomo dominates the skyline, its massive red dome glowing against the Tuscan hills, a feat of engineering and artistry that has inspired awe for centuries. From the Ponte Vecchio, lined with tiny jewelry shops, the Arno River reflects sunsets that look like they were painted by Botticelli himself. But Florence's beauty is more than architecture, it's a living museum. Step into the Uffizi Gallery and you'll stand face to face with masterpieces by Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Raphael. Walk into the Accademia and you'll find David, carved so perfectly it feels as though he might breathe at any moment. And yet Florence is not frozen in time. In its narrow streets, artisans still work by hand, crafting leather goods, gold jewelry, and marble paper the same way their ancestors did. Trattorias spill tables into piazzas where locals gather over pasta, wine, and laughter. For the perfect finale, climb to Piazzale Michelangelo at sunset. As the bells ring out across the valley and the city glows golden, you'll understand why Florence is called the cradle of the Renaissance. It is the birthplace of beauty itself. 11. Vancouver, Canada, where mountains. Meet the sea, few cities in the world are as perfectly placed as Vancouver. Imagine glass towers rising against a backdrop of snow-capped mountains, with the Pacific Ocean lapping at the edges. It feels like nature and city life shook hands and agreed to coexist beautifully. In Stanley Park, a green oasis larger than New York's Central Park, you can bike along the seawall, watching seaplanes land against the skyline. Just minutes away, sandy beaches stretch out beneath sunny skies, while dense forests hide trails and wildlife. In winter, the beauty doubles. Grouse Mountain, just a short drive away, offers skiing with views of the city below. By evening, you can return downtown for sushi as fresh as anywhere in Japan, thanks to Vancouver's thriving Pacific Rim culture. But Vancouver's magic isn't only in its scenery. It's in the way locals embrace it. On sunny days, the city spills outdoors, kayakers on the water, hikers on the trails, joggers circling the seawall. The balance between modern city living and raw natural splendor is seamless. In Vancouver, you don't have to choose between mountains, ocean, or city life. You can have it all in a single day. 12. Marrakesh, Morocco. The Red City. Marrakesh is beauty in chaos. A whirlwind of colors, scents, and sounds that overwhelms the senses and stays with you forever. The Medina is a maze, alleys twisting past spice stalls, carpets hanging from balconies, and hidden courtyards where fountains bubble quietly under the shade of orange trees. Lanterns glow, cats dart between shadows, and the scent of cinnamon, cumin, and fresh mint fills the air. At sunset, Jemar El Fnar Square transforms into a carnival. Storytellers weave tales, snake charmers play hypnotic flutes, and food stalls sizzle with skewers of meat and bubbling tagines. The square pulses like a living heart, drawing you in with its energy. But outside the frenzy, Marrakesh has moments of serene beauty. In the Jardin Majorelle, once owned by Yves Saint Laurent, blue walls frame cactus gardens, and tranquility replaces the chaos of the souks. In the distance, the snow-capped Atlas Mountains rise beyond the city's red walls, grounding the city in its desert landscape. Marrakesh is not tidy or polished, it is raw, vivid, intoxicating. A city that doesn't whisper beauty but sings it loudly in every color of the spectrum. 13. Sydney, Australia. The Harbour Jewel. Sydney has one of the most instantly recognizable skylines in the world, and it owes much of that to its harbour. The Opera House rises like white sails frozen mid-motion, while the massive steel arc of the harbour bridge anchors the skyline with strength and grace. But Sydney's beauty stretches beyond its postcard icons. Ferries crisscross the sparkling blue waters, surfers ride waves at Bondi Beach, and locals gather for barbecues in harbourside parks. Within the same day, you can dip your toes in golden sand, sip coffee in a chic cafe, and dine overlooking the glittering city lights. Climb the harbour bridge, and the panorama is staggering, an endless sprawl of beaches, bays, and islands, with the city sparkling at the centre. At night, the Opera House glows under spotlights, reflected in the calm waters of Circular Quay. What makes Sydney so unforgettable is its balance. It's cosmopolitan and relaxed, modern yet close to nature. Few cities in the world manage to be both a vibrant metropolis and a laid-back coastal paradise at the same time. Sydney doesn't just shine, it dazzles from sunrise over the Pacific to the last lights shimmering in the harbour at night. 14. Amsterdam, Netherlands. The city of canals. Amsterdam feels like a watercolour painting come to life. Narrow houses with gabled roofs lean over canals, their reflections shimmering in the water like brushstrokes. Bridges arch gracefully from bank to bank, lined with bicycles and flower boxes that burst with colour in spring. The beauty of Amsterdam lies in its intimacy. It's not grand or overwhelming, but cosy and human-sized. In the Jordan neighbourhood, tiny cafes serve apple pie and coffee, while hidden courtyards reveal secret gardens behind old facades. In spring, tulips spill across markets and parks, painting the city in reds, yellows, and purples. And Amsterdam shines in every season. In summer, long golden evenings stretch across canal terraces. In autumn, the trees along the canals turn fiery orange. In winter, fairy lights twinkle over the frozen water, and locals skate across ice where boats usually float. But perhaps Amsterdam's greatest beauty is its rhythm. The gentle pace of bicycles gliding past, boats drifting down the canals, and people pausing to sit by the water. It creates a harmony that feels like a song. Amsterdam doesn't overwhelm you. It charms you quietly until you realize you've fallen in love. 15. Havana, Cuba. a city frozen in time. Havana is a living postcard, a city where time seems to have paused somewhere in the mid-20th century. Classic cars rumble down the Malecón, their chrome gleaming under the Caribbean sun, while pastel-colored mansions line the streets in varying shades of fading grandeur. The beauty of Havana is layered, romantic, raw, and resilient. In old Havana, cobblestone streets weave past Baroque cathedrals and shaded plazas where musicians strum guitars and couples dance salsa with effortless grace. Bright laundry flutters from balconies, and the air is filled with the scent of strong Cuban coffee. But Havana isn't polished, it's alive with contradictions. Paint peels from walls, yet the colors remain brilliant. Buildings crumble in places, but the spirit never falters. Every corner hums with rhythm, whether it's a street band, the chatter of neighbors, or the ocean crashing against the seawall. And at night the city glows. Jazz pours out of smoky clubs, mojitos clink in busy bars, and the streets come alive with music that doesn't end until sunrise. Havana is nostalgia and vibrancy rolled into one, a city that wears its history proudly, yet sings with a heartbeat that feels timeless. 16. Budapest, Hungary. The pearl of the Danube. Budapest is a city built for the spotlight. Split in two by the Danube River, its beauty comes alive at night when lights illuminate bridges, palaces, and spires, reflecting like jewels across the water. On the Buda side, Castle Hill rises proudly, crowned by Buda Castle and Matthias Church, with its colorful tiled roof glowing like a crown. Across the river, Pest dazzles with grand boulevards, lively cafes, and the monumental Parliament building, an architectural masterpiece that looks straight out of a fairy tale. And then there are the thermal baths, ornate steaming pools where locals gather as they have for centuries, soaking under ceilings of painted domes or under the open sky in winter snow. It's a ritual that blends wellness, history, and pure indulgence. At sunset, stand on the chain bridge and watch the sky turn shades of gold and violet as the city lights flicker on one by one. The river, the domes, the spires, it all feels like a carefully choreographed symphony of light. Budapest is a city that shines both day and night, elegant and soulful, earning its name as the Pearl of the Danube. 17. Jaipur, India. The pink city Jaipur is a city dipped in color, literally. Its old town glows in shades of terracotta pink, a color chosen in the 19th century to symbolize hospitality, and today it makes Jaipur one of the most visually striking cities in the world. The Hawa Mahal, or Palace of Winds, rises like a honeycomb of windows, delicate and ornate. From here, royal women once watched the city below in privacy. The Amber Fort, perched on a hilltop just outside the city, feels like a golden mirage, its courtyards and palaces reflecting the artistry of India's Mughal past. Markets buzz with energy, stalls overflow with embroidered fabrics, handmade jewelry, and spices that perfume the air with cardamom, saffron, and cinnamon. Elephants lumber past, painted in vibrant patterns during festivals, adding to the city's kaleidoscope of colors. But Jaipur's beauty is not just in its palaces and markets. It's in the desert sunsets painting the sky orange and purple, in the stillness of courtyards filled with peacocks, in the rhythm of daily life that feels timeless. Jaipur is dazzling, chaotic, regal, and unforgettable. 18. Edinburgh, Scotland. A city of stone and story. Edinburgh is a city straight out of a Gothic novel, majestic, moody, and endlessly atmospheric. Its old town, with medieval alleys called closes, climbs toward the mighty Edinburgh Castle, perched on a volcanic rock and watching over the city like a sentinel. The Royal Mile is a spine of history, where bagpipes echo, pubs glow warmly, and hidden courtyards whisper secrets of centuries past. In contrast, the new town spreads elegantly below, Georgian squares and neoclassical facades that speak of Enlightenment grandeur. And then there's Arthur's Seat, an extinct volcano that rises above the city. A short climb rewards you with sweeping views of rooftops, spires, and the sea stretching beyond. At sunset, when the city lights flicker on and the sky turns violet, the view is pure magic. But Edinburgh's soul is also in its stories. This is the city of Sir Walter Scott, Robert Louis Stevenson, and J.K. Rowling. Walk its cobbled streets at night, and you feel that same creative spark, mystery, romance, and imagination woven into stone. Edinburgh is not just beautiful, it's hauntingly beautiful, a city where history and legend live side by side. 19. Buenos Aires, Argentina. The Paris of South America. Buenos Aires is a city of passion, bold, elegant, and alive with rhythm. Its wide boulevards, ornate theaters, and grand architecture earned it the nickname the Paris of South America. But Buenos Aires has a spirit entirely its own. The heart of the city beats in its tango halls, where dancers glide across polished floors, every movement charged with emotion. On the streets of San Telmo, cobblestones echo with music and laughter, antique markets spill into plazas, and murals burst across the walls in vibrant color. The Recoleta Cemetery, with its elaborate mausoleums and statues, feels like a city within a city, a silent, sculpted reflection of Argentina's history. Nearby, the iconic Teatro Colón stands as one of the greatest opera houses in the world, a palace of culture and performance. And then there's the food, thick cuts of steak-grilled to perfection, shared with friends over Malbec wine in lively parillas. The energy is infectious, fueled by a love for life, art, and connection. Buenos Aires is elegant yet raw, refined yet rebellious, a city that dances, sings, and seduces at every turn. 20. Lisbon, Portugal, the city of light and tiles. Lisbon is a city of sun, song, and endless charm. Its hills roll toward the Tagus River, dotted with pastel houses covered in colorful azulejos, tiles that tell stories of centuries past. The city feels like it was built to catch the light. Golden sunsets paint rooftops in warm hues, and at night, the streets glow with the sound of fado music, haunting songs of love and longing spilling from intimate taverns. Ride the yellow trams that rattle up steep hills, their wooden seats worn from generations of travelers. Wander through Alfama, the oldest district, where narrow streets twist past whitewashed houses and views open suddenly onto the river below. From the viewpoint at Miraduro da Senhora de Monte, Lisbon stretches like a painting, red rooftops, castle towers, and the shimmering water beyond. And of course, no visit is complete without the taste of a warm pastel de nata, sweet custard nestled in flaky pastry, eaten fresh from the oven. Lisbon is a beauty with soul, sun-drenched, musical, and endlessly welcoming. 21. St. Petersburg, Russia. The Venice of the North, St. Petersburg is a city built to impress. Designed by Peter the Great to rival Europe's finest capitals, it is a masterpiece of canals, palaces, and gilded domes. The Winter Palace and the Hermitage Museum dazzle with imperial grandeur, housing treasures from every corner of the world. The Church of the Saviour on Spilled Blood, with its colorful onion domes, rises like a jewel above the canals. And in summer, the white nights bring magic, when the sun barely sets and the city glows in twilight until dawn. St. Petersburg is a city of water. Its rivers and canals are crossed by elegant bridges, earning it the nickname Venice of the North. At night, when the drawbridges rise to let ships pass, the scene feels almost theatrical. And then there's the art. Ballet at the Mariinsky Theatre, paintings at the Hermitage, symphonies in gilded halls. St. Petersburg is a cultural jewel as much as it is a visual one. Elegant, romantic, and imperial, St. Petersburg is a city where history and beauty flow together like the waters of the Neva. 22. Hong Kong, China, the city of lights and peaks. Hong Kong is a city of contrasts, where skyscrapers soar into the clouds while quiet temples sit tucked between bustling streets. By day, its skyline dazzles with shimmering glass towers, and by night it explodes into neon brilliance, reflecting across Victoria Harbour. Stand at the top of Victoria Peak, and you'll see why this is one of the most photographed skylines in the world. Towering buildings framed by green mountains, the sea stretching beyond. As ferries glide across the water and junks with red sails drift by, it feels like stepping into a living painting. But Hong Kong isn't just its skyline. It's the narrow alleys of Kowloon filled with sizzling street food stalls. It's the quiet, incense-filled halls of Manmo Temple, where centuries-old traditions still thrive. It's the islands beyond the city, where hiking trails wind past fishing villages and golden beaches. This city pulses with life, dynamic, energetic, and endlessly evolving. Hong Kong is where tradition meets the future, and it's stunning in both. 23. Bruges, Belgium, the medieval time capsule. Bruges is the kind of city that makes you wonder if time ever moved forward. Cobblestone streets twist between Gothic spires, canals ripple under stone bridges, and swans glide serenely past historic houses. Often called the Venice of the North, Bruges is smaller, quieter, and more intimate than Venice, but every bit as romantic. In the marked square, medieval guild houses painted in bright colors line the plaza, while the belfry towers above, its bells chiming across the city. Wander along the canals and you'll see why artists have flocked here for centuries. The reflections of old houses in the water, lanterns glowing at dusk, flowers spilling from windowsills. And then, of course, there's the indulgence. Belgian chocolate shops, lace boutiques, and centuries-old breweries invite you to linger, taste, and savor. Bruges is more than beautiful, it's enchanting. A city where the past is alive in every corner, every cobblestone, every candlelit cafe. 24. Dubai, United Arab Emirates, the desert dreamscape. Dubai is a city that defies imagination. Rising from the desert sands, its skyline is a forest of futuristic towers, crowned by the soaring Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. At night, the city glitters like a jewel, its light stretching into the horizon. But Dubai's beauty isn't just about scale, it's about contrast. On one side, ultra-modern architecture that seems ripped from science fiction. The sail-shaped Burj Al Arab, the twisting Cayenne Tower, the man-made Palm Islands. On the other hand, golden deserts roll endlessly, dotted with camels and traditional Bedouin camps. Step into the souks and you'll find another layer of charm. Alleys filled with the scent of spices, gold glimmering in-shop windows, and traditional wooden boats called abras gliding across Dubai Creek. And then there are the beaches, where turquoise waters lap against the sand, with the futuristic skyline rising behind you. Dubai is bold, dramatic, and dazzling, a city that proves beauty can be created by human hands as much as by nature. 25. Cusco, Peru. The ancient capital of the Andes, high in the Andes, Cusco feels like a city carved out of history itself. Once the capital of the Inca Empire, it's a place where ancient stone walls line the streets, colonial churches rise above plazas, and colorful markets hum with life. Everywhere you walk, you feel the weight of history. Massive Inca stones, cut so precisely they fit together without mortar, still form the foundations of the city. Above them, Spanish architecture tells the story of conquest and change. Plaza de Armas is the heart of it all, ringed by arcades, cathedrals, and bustling cafes. Wander the San Blas neighborhood, and you'll find narrow lanes filled with artisans, vibrant murals, and sweeping views over the city. But Cusco is also the gateway to one of the greatest wonders of the world, Machu Picchu. Many travelers pass through on their way to the ancient citadel, but Cusco itself is worthy of lingering. Set against mountains, alive with festivals, and steeped in culture, Cusco is a city where the past and present dance together in perfect harmony. 26. Quebec, City, Canada. The fairy tale of North America. Quebec City feels like a piece of Europe that somehow crossed the Atlantic and settled in North America. Its cobblestone streets, fortified walls, and the grand Chateau Frontenac, towering above the St. Lawrence River, create a setting that feels like a living fairy tale. Wander through Old Quebec, and you'll discover hidden courtyards, horse-drawn carriages, and charming boutiques spilling with local crafts. In winter, snow turns the city into a glittering wonderland, with Christmas markets, skating rinks, and lights twinkling across every street. In summer, flower boxes overflow from windows, street performers fill the plazas, and the river sparkles under clear skies. From Dufferin Terrace, the views are breathtaking, the chateau rising above, the river stretching endlessly below. Quebec City is intimate and romantic, a city that feels both European and uniquely Canadian. Its history wrapped in charm, a storybook city that enchants in every season. From Hong Kong's neon skyline to Bruges' medieval canals, from Dubai's desert towers to Cusco's ancient stones, and the fairy tale streets of Quebec City, our journey proves that beauty comes in endless forms. But we're not done yet. Next, we'll explore Salzburg's symphony of mountains, Barcelona's kaleidoscope of architecture, and the tango-filled streets of Buenos Aires. 27. Salzburg, Austria, the Symphony City. Salzburg is a city that feels like a song. Nestled between the Alps and the Salzach River, its Baroque domes and pastel-colored houses create a sky line as graceful as the music it's known for. This is Mozart's birthplace, and his influence still lingers in the air. Walk through the narrow lanes of the old town, and you'll hear violins echoing from hidden courtyards, or stumble upon a chamber concert in a centuries-old hall. But Salzburg's beauty is more than musical, it's visual. The mighty fortress of Hohensalzburg looms over the city, its stone walls glowing golden at sunset. The Mirabelle Gardens bloom with perfect symmetry, their flower beds framing the spires beyond. And across the river the mountains rise, their snowy peaks reminding you that nature is always close. In winter, Salzburg becomes a snow-dusted wonderland, its Christmas markets filled with twinkling lights, mulled wine, and handmade crafts. In summer, festivals transform the city into an open-air stage. Salzburg is harmony in every sense: architecture, music, nature, and soul. 28. Barcelona, Spain, Gaudi's living canvas. Barcelona is a city where art is everywhere. From its Gothic quarters' winding alleys to the sweeping beaches along the Mediterranean, the city pulses with creativity. At its heart stands Antoni Gaudi's masterpiece, the Sagrada Familia, still under construction after more than a century, but already one of the most extraordinary buildings on Earth. Its spires rise like something organic, as if nature itself shaped the stone. Park Güell bursts with color, mosaic benches curling like waves, lizard sculptures glittering in the sun, and views stretching across the city to the sea. Wander down La Rambla, and you'll find markets bursting with life. Fresh fruits, flowers, street performers, and the hum of energy that defines Barcelona. But it's not just Gaudí that makes Barcelona beautiful. It's the Gothic churches, the palm-lined plazas, the tapas bars spilling into the streets. It's the way life happens outdoors: dinners on terraces, concerts under the stars, late-night conversations by the sea. Barcelona is bold, colorful, and alive, a city that feels like a painting in constant motion. 29. San Sebastián, Spain, the pearl of the bay. San Sebastián is where the mountains meet the sea in perfect harmony. Nestled on Spain's northern coast, this city is famous for its crescent-shaped La Concha beach, one of the most beautiful urban beaches in the world. Golden sand curves along the bay, framed by green hills and elegant promenades. But San Sebastián isn't just about the sea, it's about indulgence. This small city is a global culinary capital, with more Michelin stars per capita than almost anywhere else. In the old town, Pinxo's bars overflow with tiny plates of culinary artistry, each one as beautiful as it is delicious. Climb Monte Igueldo, and you'll see the entire bay spread before you, waves crashing against rocky cliffs, surfers catching the Atlantic swells, and the city glowing under the sun. At night, the old town comes alive, laughter spilling from taverns, glasses clinking, and streets filled with energy. San Sebastián is elegance and joy combined, a city where beauty is both natural and delicious. 30. Seville, Spain. The city of flamenco and fire Seville is a city that burns with life. Orange trees scent the streets, flamenco rhythms echo from hidden courtyards, and every plaza seems to glow with golden light. At its heart stands the magnificent Seville Cathedral, the largest Gothic cathedral in the world, its Giralda Tower rising like a beacon over the city. Just steps away, the Real Alcázar enchants with intricate Moorish arches, tiled courtyards and gardens where fountains sing in the Andalusian sun. But beauty in Seville isn't only found in its monuments, it's in the air. in the clapping of hands and stomping of feet at a flamenco performance, in the laughter spilling from tapas bars late into the night. In the festivals, especially Semana Santa and Feria de Abril, the city explodes with color, music, and devotion. Seville is sensual, warm, and unforgettable, a city that dances with every heartbeat. 31. Mexico City. Mexico, a kaleidoscope of culture. Mexico City is a feast for the senses. Vibrant murals splash color across buildings, mariachi bands fill plazas with music, and the scent of street food drifts through the air. This sprawling metropolis sits on ancient Aztec foundations, with Templo Mayor ruins at its heart. Nearby, the Metropolitan Cathedral towers over Zocalo Square, a symbol of centuries of history. But Mexico City is not just history, it's alive with art and culture. The neighborhoods each tell their own story. Coyoacan, with its colonial charm, and Frida Kahlo's Casa Azul. Roman Condesa, with leafy boulevards, trendy cafes, and Art Deco mansions. Xochimilco, where colorful boats float through flower-filled canals. And then there's the food. The tacos al pastor sizzling on street corners, the tamales wrapped in steaming husks, the chocolate-rich mole sauces perfected over generations. Mexico City is a mosaic, bold, diverse, and endlessly surprising. 32. Santorini, Greece, the island of light. Few places capture the imagination like Santorini. Perched on volcanic cliffs above the Aegean Sea, its whitewashed houses and blue-domed churches create one of the most iconic views in the world. In Oia, sunsets turn the sky into fire, orange, pink, and purple melting into the horizon. Couples gather on terraces, glasses of local wine in hand, as the last rays light up the caldera below. But Santorini's beauty isn't only its postcard-perfect villages. It's the black sand beaches of Parissa, the red cliffs of Akrotiri, the winding paths lined with bougainvillea, and the vineyards that thrive in volcanic soil. This is a place of contrasts, ancient ruins alongside chic boutiques, rugged cliffs against soft blue seas, timeless tradition alongside modern luxury. Santorini is romance made real, a dream carved from rock and sea. 33. Vienna, Austria. The imperial elegance. Vienna is a city of refinement, where history and culture blend in perfect harmony. Once the seat of the Habsburg Empire, its grand boulevards are lined with palaces, opera houses, and stately museums that reflect centuries of power and artistry. The Ringstrasse circles the city with architectural treasures, the State Opera House, Parliament, and the neo-Gothic spires of City Hall. At the heart of it all stands Schönbrunn Palace, a golden vision surrounded by vast gardens where fountains sparkle and pathways stretch into the distance. But Vienna's beauty is not only imperial, it's musical. The notes of Mozart and Strauss linger in concert halls and cafes alike. In the evening, chandeliers glitter as orchestras perform waltzes that once set the city twirling. And then there's the cafe culture. Step into a Viennese coffeehouse with its marble tables and velvet chairs, and you'll find a world where time slows, where art, literature, and conversation flourish. Vienna is elegance defined, majestic yet intimate, timeless yet alive. 34. Inverness, Scotland. The Highland gem nestled in the Scottish Highlands, Inverness is a city where natural beauty and history intertwine. The River Ness winds gently through town, lined with quaint houses, stone bridges, and riverside walks that feel both peaceful and alive. The city is a gateway to legend. Nearby Loch Ness whispers tales of the elusive monster, while rolling hills and castles dot the landscape in every direction. Inverness itself is charming yet understated, with cobbled streets, cozy pubs, and a market square filled with local crafts. Inverness is also a city of contrasts. Ancient ruins sit alongside modern cafes, while the dramatic Highland landscapes provide a backdrop for everyday life. Sunrise over the river or sunset on the hills brings a calm beauty that feels timeless. It's not a city of crowds or chaos, it's a city of heart, history, and harmony with nature. 35. Singapore. The Garden City. Singapore is a city of innovation and elegance, where towering skyscrapers coexist with lush greenery and colorful neighborhoods. Its skyline gleams by day and sparkles by night, while the Marina Bay sands and gardens by the bay create instantly recognizable icons. But what makes Singapore breathtaking isn't just architecture, it's the seamless blend of urban life and nature. Rainforest trails wind through the city, orchid gardens bloom in vibrant colors, and vertical gardens climb high-rise buildings like living sculptures. Neighborhoods like Chinatown, Little India, and Kampong Glam offer rich cultural tapestries, markets, temples, and colorful street art. And at night, the city lights reflect off calm waters, making the skyline shimmer like a jewel. Singapore is meticulous, modern, and endlessly photogenic, a city that embodies elegance, efficiency, and natural beauty in perfect balance. It's iconic, timeless, and eternal, the perfect conclusion to our tour of the most beautiful cities in the world. And there you have it, the 35 most beautiful cities in the world. From snow-capped European gems to tropical escapes, from bustling modern metropolises to serene historic capitals, each city tells a story of history, culture, and visual magic. So, which city made your heart skip a beat? Comment below, I'd love to hear your pick. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new adventure. The world is waiting. Go see it, one beautiful city at a time.